Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Wine and Chill. I'm Stephanie, your favorite recovering lawyer, and we are on time for the new time. Yes, and I'm gonna hold to that. And this is not on the right. I was going through all of the notes again, so let's go backwards since we're just starting. How are y'all? Happy Thursday. I have new wine, which y'all are gonna see this in the video. I think the reality TV, the legalities of reality TV should come out either Sunday or it might come out Tuesday, either or. And I'm drinking the same thing. So I figured since my poor Miami Heat lost, shout out to Miami Heat. Y'all are still the winners in my opinion. I figured we'd try 3 by Dwayne Wade. 3 by Wade, which is his rosé. It's pretty good. I've already tried it. So since I already filmed that video, I recommend. I enjoy it. It's very crisp. All right. I hope your day is going well, K10. Hey, Blue Quartz. Hey, Toy Toy. Hey, Jojo. Hey, Taliva. All right. And hey, Jonathan. I saw you were on time. I'm on time for the new time. All right. So today we are going to start, I would say, not really a part one, but our first delve. Is it our first? Not first one, because we actually have covered reality TV a little bit. Our newest delve into reality TV and the legalities of reality TV, starting with one Puerto Rican princess and whether Zeus TV is liable for her actions that she displayed at the Mayweather and Gotti fight, where she decided she too was also going to box plenty of unsuspecting people as well as big Lex. So let's get into it. So this is going to be our agenda. I cannot see this. Hold on. Let me make this a little bigger. Okay, perfect. So first, a little bit about the background of Zeus Network. I found it very interesting in doing the research. And then Mayweather versus Gotti versus the Puerto Rican princess versus, it should say, big Lex. I forgot to add them there. Then who's liable? We are going to take it back to Property 1, which is one of the classes you take first semester of law school, and talk about premises liability. And then we're going to talk about a little bit of contract law, indemnification, and subrogation. And then maybe if we have enough time, we'll get into a little bit how reality TV legalizes assault. And that, if we don't get into it, don't worry, that's going to be covered in our filmed video anyway. All right, so let's get into this. Starting with, first and foremost, thank you to Patreon. I appreciate all of y'all. We have a few new videos up. We just did an Instagram live about the debt ceiling and a little bit speaking about Sukihana's assault as well. So that Instagram live will go up for all the tiers. And then for the bi-weekly Patreon only lives, those are the Sauvignon Blanc tiers. We had, I believe this was Monday. I've been a little bit at a loss. What day is what day, to be honest? But I believe it was Monday. We talked about Chica and the children, and we talked about Miss Azalea Banks. And, you know, what happens to a dream denied? And why? Not really why. What do we do with her, honestly, never-ending rage and how she lashes out and says very harmful, inappropriate things towards others? All right, so that is what we covered, and let's get into Zeus Network. So if you are not familiar, I'll keep me small so y'all can see this. Let me have a sip real quick. If you're not familiar with Zeus Network, this is from their YouTube channel, and they have not only a YouTube, they are I would say network app. So basically they are a subscription service. You subscribe to their app. You can watch their plethora of reality TV as well as scripted shows. And then they also show clips on YouTube as well. So you can see here, I'm gonna lean in because y'all can see and I cannot see. Here they have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube alone with 125 million views just on YouTube. That's a lot. So they are doing numbers. And if you're not familiar with what is on the show, it's Baddies West, which basically Baddies West, Baddies South, Baddies East. Is there a Baddies North? I don't know. I'm not sure. It is essentially the daughter of Bad Girls Club. So if you are a woman of a certain age, like me, you will probably remember Bad Girls Club, which is on Oxygen. One of the most memorable people from Bad Girls Club, Natalie Nunn. She is an executive producer. I think she is the EP of Baddies West. She is definitely a producer. She may also be the EP as well for Baddies West. So she has kept a very long legal career, a very long reality TV career. And the newest iteration is on Zeus Network. Now, various of the shows highlight different things. Jocelyn's Cabaret, Baddies West, a lot of tussling, I would say. And we're not going to get into the respectability politics of that and whether or not it gives you the ick, because we've talked about respectability politics before. This, however, I think should be talked about is who actually owns Zeus. Zeus is positioned as a Black-owned network. However, it has some very interesting who have been positioned before it rose to fame. It's been around for about 4 or 5 years now as the owners. So I thought we'd play this little clip. Basically, Lord, basically, I still stand behind, if we're talking about Bad Girls Club for 2 seconds, I stand behind that Tanika deserved her own show. She really did. That was a bop she made with the pans, a moment in time. All right. So let's play this clip. I'm like, I lost the clip. Here we go, really quick.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Haley Delane, and tonight is a very special night. We are here with our Zeus family celebrating the launch of Zeus, you guys. All your favorite influencers are about to walk this carpet, and you know I'm about to talk to them, so let's go check it out. All right, you guys, I'm with the queen tonight, Miss Amanda Cerny. Amanda, how are you feeling?
I'm super excited. It's all real. It came together. We're doing our pre-launch party, so coming out July 13th. I'm super stoked.
And you were actually a part of a lot of the different content on Zeus. What was that like, making that specifically for this platform versus social?
Yeah, no, it was much more organized and it's a series too. So it's a little bit more exciting because we're able to put a bunch of different shows in order and have a full production team around it and not have it all rely on your own shoulders, which is great, and bring up the production value
Mentioning of the production value, I find specifically very interesting because it's not giving high production value, if we're just going to start there, to be honest. And exactly, who is this? The Queen of Zeus, according to the interviewer. This is Amanda Cerny. You will see her on older episodes of Zeus. Zeus is doing, unfortunately, many interesting things in terms of packaging what they call Black culture. However, one of the most interesting things, in my opinion, I'm saying interesting to be kind, is Zeus is very much pulling a UPN WB, which Zeus realized 3 of, which we can get to the next slide. Hold on.
What's up, guys?
This is who Zeus launched the network with. King Bach, which he is famously or infamously remembered for his very problematic vines. Then you have Amanda Cerny, who was just interviewed, as well as D Storm. And it's very interesting because it reminds me of, you often don't see Amanda Cerny, which is why a lot of people are like, who is this? Who is she? What is going on? They're doing what UPN did, which is they realize is very, very lucrative to sell a specific type of Black culture, to sell a very narrow view of something. And again, without getting into the respectability politics, the respectability politics don't serve anybody. Selling this level of tussling into tomorrow, they realized Amanda was not going to sell. But what was going to sell was Natalie Nunn putting on this newish version of accent that she has adopted and watching people fight. It's fascinating. It's very fascinating. She was also on Vine as well. Yes. So this is from Variety TV, and Variety, there's no TV there, sorry. Variety is a TV and film publication, and in the publication, they state that the 3 of them are partners in Zeus Network. I found conflicting reports. Afrotech reported that Lem Plummer was 100% the owner. It was also then reported that they did also give some seed money. They were given equity. So I'm not sure exactly what the partnership is set up as, whether they are equal owners, whether they are only owning 10%, but I do find it interesting. I do find it very interesting. All right. So from Variety, a trio of social media superstars, King Bach, Amanda Cerny, and Distorm Power, are throwing their collective reach behind a new subscription streaming service in partnership with TV producer Lemuel Plummer. Dubbed Zeus, the platform will feature content from the 3 influencers I guess they said, Amanda girl, you have to go to the back, who collectively have almost 70 million combined followers across platforms. Power, Bach, and Cerny also will invite fellow collaborators and other social media stars to join Zeus across a range of categories, including comedy, beauty, fashion, and fitness, operating like a farm team system in baseball, according to the partners. So yes, very, very interesting, you know. And this is Lemuel Plummer, who he, depending on which publication you read, is the owner and the CEO of Zeus Network. He's definitely CEO. That is reported in every report. It is still, I'm not sure if he is sharing the ownership or if he owns it solely. All right. And I just thought, you know, before we get into Zeus Network and whether or not they have liability for Joseline's actions, his background I thought was pretty interesting because we are peddling a very specific brand of tropes of blackness. All right. He grew up in Detroit, immersed in media production, raised by parents who owned 3 television stations in the city. Very accomplished parents. He acknowledged how his parents inspired him to not only go after a career in television, but to aspire for ownership. Okay, he's giving Black capitalism. I understood that my parents were doing something very, very different and unique and special, Plummer told Black Enterprise. I was very fortunate to be able to learn from not only my parents, my other siblings who worked for the company. I decided that this is something that I wanted to pursue in television, and maybe one day in the future, I could have my own network. Prior to launching his own network, Plummer secured his first look deal with BET Network at the age of 20 and went on to help produce several series, including The Monique Show and The Family Cruise. He started selling shows and making major moves within Hollywood, but still felt like he wanted something bigger. And that bigger was Zeus Network. And I think it's interesting and important to note that because why is it that if you've come from a middle-class background, very much most people, their family doesn't own 1 television station, much less 3. Why is it that the brand of blackness, without getting to respectability politics, that you are profiting off of, my issues with the profiting, that you are profiting off of is Black people trying to make it, putting Black women specifically in situations of harm against themselves and each other? Why is that? And particularly with Zeus makes lots of money while we're talking about Joseline off of women fighting. And specifically, they know Joseline's behavior. A lot of people have stated, and I think to the most part correctly, that Zeus is basically encouraging her behavior because they profited off her behavior. VH1 started this with Joseline back in the day on Love and Hip Hop. They realized Joseline made good TV. People love to see people fight, and she loves to fight. And it brings back this article, which I've read this article so many times now because I've referenced it before. And the article is very interesting. And while I have some thoughts on certain sections, for the most part, I am in full agreement, which is who actually gets to create Black popular culture. Because if you ask Mr. Plummer, he is adamant that Zeus is not reproducing anything harmful, that they are not ratchet TV, and that he is just simply showcasing all of Black culture in all of its glory. And no tropes of Black people whatsoever. So I think that's very interesting. And this is from Current Affairs. I'll make sure to link to that. But basically, the caption of the article is, a closer look at the economics of Black popular culture reveals that most Black creators outside of music come from middle to upper class backgrounds, while the Black poor are written about but rarely get the chance to speak for themselves. And this is problematic because then you turn people into tropes under the guise of, I'm uplifting people, everything is uplift. And because, you know, honest and truly, because Dave Chappelle is such a vile classist person, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to bring this up, that Dave Chappelle said this out of his own mouth. You know, when I was growing up, I was probably about 8 years old at the time. We were living in Silver Springs. Yes, common misconception about me in DC. A lot of Black people think I'm from the hood. That's not true, but I never bothered to correct anybody because I wanted the streets to embrace me. As a matter of fact, I kept it as a ruse, like sometimes I'll hang out with rappers like Nas and them, and these mother effers start talking about the projects. Yo, you was wild in the PJs. And I'll be like, word. But I don't know. I have no idea. And this is problematic for so many reasons. because we are going to talk about in the video, hopefully on Sunday, the realities of legal TV. We're going to specifically talk about legalized assault and contracts. The people on these shows, the women in Baddies West, they are not making a lot of money. They do not pay them specifically for the Baddies series. They are paid between $5,000 and $10,000 for 19 episodes. That's paying the rent for 3 months. The fact that someone that is socioeconomically advantaged is essentially, it would seem to me, taking advantage of the situation, it doesn't sit right. But let's get into it. All right. And this part I thought was interesting. I'm just putting it on here for a mental note for myself because I am very curious about this. So this is from Mr. Plummer. Yes, I have received cease and desist letters from Viacom and VH1 who have basically told me I'm treading in their space, which I don't understand how I would be treading in their space, Plummer revealed. But people have definitely looked at us as a threat and made it pretty vocal. There's a lot of challenges running a network. You're talking significant money that comes through. And again, significant money going to who? It's not the talent. It's not the women trying to make a sustainable lifestyle and just get themselves out of a bad situation. It's not them. Because I've seen the amount they're making because they've gone and said it on social media. All right, which brings us to the Puerto Rican princess. Mayweather versus Gotti versus the Puerto Rican princess versus Big Lex. So there was a scheduled boxing match between Floyd Mayweather and, now I'm forgetting his first name. I believe it's John Gotti. If it's not John, y'all let me know. And they had their boxing match. They also tussled outside of the boxing match. It was chaos and commotion. Also, Joseline has a show on Zeus Network called Joseline's Cabaret, where she is basically the headliner of the show. She has taken numerous issues to various people on the show. She has been sued because she has assaulted people on the reunion, as has her fiance, Ballistic, which... honestly, if Joseline is getting charged, he should also be getting charged because I've seen the videos. One of the cast members from her show was Big Lex. Joseline not only assaulted Big Lex numerous times, she also assaulted random people throughout the venue. Now, which gets us into her charges. So all of these headlines are nonsensical because all of these headlines come from tabloids. So here is one. This was the most, I would say, not ridiculous one, and it's still ridiculous in the wording. Love and Hip Hop, because that's what she's most famously known for. Joseline Hernandez arrested for Big Lex beatdown. Like, why do we? It's assault. Like, we shouldn't glamorize this. During Mayweather fight. All right. So this occurred on the 12th. She was charged with 4 charges. We're not going to really spend time about her charges. If you've seen the videos, it's awful. I'm going to show just a small clip for a second. Actually, let's show it really quick so y'all can see what we're talking about. Present. Share screen. Window. Oh. Okay, here we go. So this is Joseline. There's no need to put the volume because it's loud, y'all. And as you see, she is just smacking random people. All of these people are likely to, if they haven't already, which I don't think they have yet, press charges and or sue her and or sue the premises they were on, the stadium in Sunrise, Florida. And you see other people committing assault as well. All right. So let's go back to this. Here we go. Okay. So just so we're on the same page with the chart. Oh, where did it go? Here we go. How do I do this? No. It's changed my preset. So I'm like, where is everything? So it's 3 charges of battery and then 1 charge of resisting an officer with violence. All right. So you have touch or strike, battery, domestic violence. They're all basically the same thing. So this has happened in the state of Florida. And then the 4th charge is resisting an officer. And honestly, I'm surprised she doesn't have more charges, to be honest, because as you can see in the video, she hit numerous people that weren't even bothering her. It was a lot of commotion. It was a lot of commotion. So, which brings us to the legal claims. Joseline is one of the premier, I would say, maybe besides Natalie Nunn, most famous. She's probably not an employee, contract workers for Zeus Network. Zeus Network makes a lot of money off of Joseline's antics. Zeus Network also was the sponsor of the the legalized boxing match. Not the stuff that happened after, not any of that. So in the videos, we see any of the clips, a lot of the clips show Zeus Network contract workers. And I want to emphasize on contract workers that a lot of these people are not employees, so they are likely not getting benefits. Because usually people that are running seemingly scammy-ish businesses, they don't like pay their employees. So if you're paying your talent that you have filming 24 hours, almost 5 to 10 grand for a season for 19 episodes, yeah, I don't really believe that you're probably paying me security enough. Probably not. That would just be my guess, to be honest. So with that, Zeus Network entered and brokered a deal with Floyd Mayweather that they would host a few of his title matches. This is a huge deal for them. They do pay-per-view streaming through Zeus Network for these fights as well. And as part of them filming the fights, they invite all, it seemed, this is a guess, but it seems like they invite a lot of their cast members from their various series. They have a lot of different series running. Orlando Brown from That's So Raven is on one of them. And I've seen a few clips and he always looks very confused. He always looks like, wait, where is the production and the trailer that I'm used to? And it's very interesting to me. And so with that, there were a lot of cast members from various Zeus shows, and there was also filming as well. However, the main event was being filmed for pay-per-view, wasn't necessarily being filmed from what I could tell for a specific show. It may come up in other shows, and that part is important because when you get into how assault is essentially legalized in a lot of reality TV shows, when you are a reality television contestant in a lot of these drama shows, you sign different waivers and indemnification that essentially say, hey, I waive my right to sue if I am assaulted, if any consensual or non-consensual touching occurs, which is wild. We'll get into a little bit of the contract today, and then in the video, we'll do more of a deep dive because I have one of the contracts from the real world, and the real world producers also produce Bad Girls Club as well as Keeping Up with Kardashians. So we're going to get into that. And with that, a lot of people have asked, so shout out to y'all that sent this to me and were like, hey, can we cover this? Have asked whether or not Zeus is liable for Joseline's actions, since Zeus is essentially co-signing her actions, very much filming her. And the person that caught most of the footage, I'm not sure if it seemed to be on their phone, but I'm not sure if they were filming in an official capacity for the show. So with that, you can't essentially say, oh, just because Joseline is on this show and she assaulted somebody, well, that person she assaulted waived their rights. That's not going to work. Those random people she hit are most likely going to sue not only Zeus, but the building, the stadium arena. So which brings us to premises liability. The person with the most to lose here is the arena. This was held in Sunrise, Florida. Shout out to South Florida. And how this occurred, it seemed to occur somewhere in the back. Like they're not in the stands. They're like in a loading area. And with premises liability, it's what duty of care does the owner of the premise owe to you? Which one of those is, do you have enough security? Thank you, Toy Toy. She also performed that night. So that's actually a really good, That's actually a really good point in that maybe Zeus might be found more liable if that performance is a part of her contract that she's supposed to be doing, because they are essentially filming it. They can't show all those random people's faces. My water's over there. Hold on. I don't want to get up. And then I'm like, okay, it's gone. I was like, the wine is not going to fix a cough. Okay, we're good. Listen, the poor woman that was just literally the back of the head just walking around, I would have been so shocked. She's definitely suing. Get your student loans money. All right, so here we go with premises liability. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. Limitation on premises liability. So this is specifically for Florida, since this occurred in South Florida. The Florida laws are going to apply here. Federal, I mean, there's not enough damage for federal. So this is likely, if they were to sue, it would be in state court. Limitation on premises liability. Let me preface that just so it's fully correct. To sue in federal court, you either have to have a question of constitutional law, discrimination, for example, or I think the threshold is $75,000 or more, I believe, if I remember correctly. The federal statute, how you get into federal court. So most likely this would be state court. So I pulled Florida. All right, actually, I guess I can go to sign. Okay, so limitations on premises liability. According to Florida statute, the owner or operator of a convenience business that substantially implements the applicable security measures listed in subsection 812 1.173 and another subsection shall gain a presumption against liability in connection with criminal acts that occur on the premises and that are committed by third parties who are not employees or agents of the owner or operator of the convenience business. So this occurred in a stadium. The first question is whether or not there is enough security. Now, security clearly was contracted out in this situation to Zeus Network. If you watch the video, A, I really don't feel like they're paying those security guards enough to be getting slapped around. But B, they didn't really stop anything. They were Joseline, I don't know how tall she is, but they were significantly taller than her, much larger than her. At one point, you see them trying to restrain her. She smacks them a few times. They just let her loose to assault Lex numerous times, as well as hit the random people, etc. I don't think a judge would look at that and be like, yeah, this is adequate security. Adequate security. We've all, unfortunately, been at bars where the security is very aggressive. They perceive anything wrong, they remove you from the premises. They should have removed Joseline from the premises. They should have told her, hey, you have to leave. We are walking you this way, etc. They didn't do that. You could clearly tell that they were like, okay, we'll just let her go. Let's pretend. Oh, she's 5'5". Thank you, Gigi. Let's, stop it a little bit, but they didn't actively stop it. There are clips where she is hitting Lex numerous times, over 10 times. That to me is not adequate security. They would definitely on that. The premises liability works that the venue has to have security. However, they've clearly contracted out to Zeus, and I know this because they all had Zeus shirts on. Unless they were paying for promo, like, okay, your security that works for the stadium has to wear Zeus promo. I doubt it. It looked like Zeus security because if I'm a degular, I work for the AAA and I'm a regular security guard and someone pops me, that's not gonna be my reaction. That's not going to be my reaction. The reaction is very much giving like, oh, here she goes again, but this is our prize pony, so let her just smack everyone. All right, so the next part to make sure that the premises is not liable, the way that you get the presumption against the liability is if any criminal act on the premises are committed by third parties who are not employees or agents of the owner or operator of the business. Joseline is not an employee of the venue at all. So if she was an employee, that would be a little bit different. However, because they contracted out the security, that's kind of what it hinges on. And really what usually happens is how you get into indemnification. That's likely what's going to happen. So when you rent out a space, you have to have large amounts of insurance because essentially the venue is like, you know what? I hope you don't do nonsense in my space. However, if you do, as the owner of this venue, I will get sued. And when I get sued, I'm suing you because really, I didn't do anything. And that's likely what's going to happen if there are lawsuits connected to this. And honestly, I don't see why there wouldn't be. It's all videotaped, which brings us to indemnification and subrogation. It was awful. Honestly, it was really awful to watch, which is why I didn't show that clip. Because I'm just like, this is very dangerous. This is not like, oh, when you watch certain reality TV, you can tell that it's staged. It's not staged. It's definitely connecting. And also her husband or her fiance, equally awful. Okay, so let's make this a little bit bigger. So indemnification. So indemnification is essentially when you get sued for something that you didn't do, but you're in contract privity with somebody else, you will get the lawsuit and then you will say, hey, so-and-so, this is really your fault. We have a contract together, so I'm passing off you're going to pay for all of my legal fees. You're going to pay for the court filing. You're going to pay the settlement, etc. But fine, I will let my face be in it. That's what indemnification is. So the next definition from Routers, indemnification. Also, I just realized Routers has the pride colors now because it's June. Oh, the rainbow washing is always so funny to me. Dishonorable mention to Target, which we talked about on Patreon. Indemnification, also referred to as indemnity, is an undertaking by one party, the indemnifying party, to compensate the other party, the indemnified party, for certain costs and expenses typically stemming from third-party claims. So the third-party claim is somebody who's not in the contract whatsoever. So AKA that woman who unfortunately got popped in the back of her head, she would be a third-party claimant. Like, hey, I'm just here. I was trying to watch a boxing match. I was actually about to walk home and commotion is breaking out. All right, so this is a little snippet from the real world contract. Oh, hold on 1 second. Let me make this bigger and let me fix the camera really quick. So this is going to be from the real world contract, which we're going to go through in depth in the next reality TV. That's going to be a film video. And just so you see kind of how indemnification looks in a, wait, is this the right section? In a reality TV contract. Is this, leasing parties. I don't really hear it real clearly. So there's a waivers and indemnification section. Hold on, let me make sure this is the right one that I wanted to go over. They're very similar, but indemnification language, has a very specific things. I guess this is it. Hold on. I had like 2 sections in here. Is it this one? Okay. I think it's this one, or if not, will not sue. Yep, I have that one. Your waiver to not sue. Oh, indemnify and 55A. Is this 55A? No, this is 53. Okay, so this is just a waiver. Let me put the indemnification language in there. Hold on. It's 55A. That was 53. Okay, cool. Now we're back. I was like, wait, this is not correct. So usually you can tell the indemnification section is always it's in almost all of your employment contracts as well. It's always important to look at them. Indemnification is in the most randomest places, particularly if you are on Twitch, for example, because Twitch is currently negotiating a new Twitch partner agreement with all of the streamers. If you are a Twitch streamer, you have to indemnify Twitch if Twitch is sued because of something you did, which is a little bit wild because Twitch is a huge corporation. They shouldn't be allowing you to upload copyrighted content in the first place, or at least they should verify it before a lawsuit even occurs. So indemnification puts the burden on the other person. All right, so this is from the real world contract. To the maximum extent permitted by law, I and other releasing parties irrevocably, agree to defend, indemnify, and hold harmless each of the released parties. The released parties in this agreement are all the producers, any employee that works for the production company, Viacom, VH1, or MTV. This is real world, MTV, etc. This is before they all merged. All right. Against any and all released claims by whomever asserted, including without limitation, any claims arising out of connection with, and then this is where they say, like, hey, any of these things happen. Yes, I understand that I, the premise liability, will get sued, but you are going to pay me back. All right. You know what? Let me remove me so I can just lean in. Okay. Any breach or alleged breach, and this is always written very broad. You never want to agree to alleged breaches, because alleged breach means they don't have to prove that an actual breach of contract occurred, and that gives them the easy way out. You want to give the corporations the hardest way out. Saying breach of contract means they have to prove that in the court of law. Breach of any agreement, covenant, representation, or warranty. My travel in connecting with my application or preparation for it, which is like an interesting thing. I'm just paraphrasing here. Any statement or action, omission of mine made during or in connection with the program, resulting directly or indirectly from the program, whether occurring before, during my actual participation. And it continues to go on. Anything that you do, you have to pay them back the money if they get sued for it. All right. So then one of the things, indemnification, there's definitely indemnification language in the contract between Zeus Network and the stadium. And there's most likely as well a subrogation clause. So subrogation comes up in insurance. For you to rent out any, I would say, established venue, much less an entire stadium, you have to have insurance. So you have to show proof of insurance. And then lawyers love to argue about what the insurance limits are. I had to do that a few times for some events that we did, like when I worked in tech, and it was super interesting because I'm like, well, what's the worst that we could do in the space? So for example, company holiday parties, people do foolishness at company holiday parties. When you negotiate for the insurance, the venue. So I've been to really nice. Woo, some tech loves to waste money. Well, they used to. Tech used to love to waste money on company holiday parties. And in that, because you're applying employees with so much alcohol, amongst other things, people tend to break things sometimes, do foolishness, etc. The venue, particularly here, like the hotels in New York, will require insurance clauses of at least $1 million, sometimes $10 million. They will ask for the maximum amount of insurance they can get just in case you or your employees break anything, and that will go under the subrogation clause. So subrogation clauses are used in the real estate industry and insurance industry and allow insurance companies to follow a lawful claim against a third party that causes damage to the insured. So in this instance, the insured would be, you could probably do it both ways, to be honest, but would definitely be the stadium. The stadium has insurance. Like, yeah, we're going to rent this place out, but I don't know if these fools are going to act right. And Zeus should have insurance, and most likely to even get into the stadium and host a boxing event, they definitely have insurance specifically for that event. So the insurance will state like, hey, we will insure you for, probably like low-level harm. Like if people slip and fall, that's likely they're probably a little bit intoxicated. They may fall, they may hurt themselves. Insurance is not going to insure you for intentional criminal acts. Joseline, going around popping people in the head is an intentional and criminal act. Insurance is not going to be like, well, we know you're Star Pony, who you're making all this money off of, likes to hit people and you like to videotape it because it makes you money, but we can't insure against that. We can't ensure that all of these people, both her and her fiance, also committed assault, and also numerous random people who are probably not employees of Zeus. I saw many very unfortunate, very disgusting behavior. Many men just running up on random women. I was like, what is happening? What is it? Chaos and commotion. The insurance is not covering that. Which I'm very curious. And this is a general legal curiosity because the moral answer is probably something else. As to why Zeus thinks this type of thing is profitable, it's one thing for if you've watched any parts of like Baddies West or any of the Baddies series, it's similar to Bad Girls Club in that they rent out a house and they rent out a mansion. Nobody owns that. And they live in the mansion and, they're supposed to go on bookings, etc., etc. So you need insurance for the mansion you're renting out, which the people who rent out these mansions often talk about how afterwards, like, oh, I thought I would make some money by renting out my house to this reality TV show. The show wrecked my house. Or, like I only work with this company because they keep the house intact, etc. They have insurance for that. Having insurance to cover all the foolishness that occurred in the various clips we saw from the Mayweather fight, no. I don't think they have enough insurance money for that. I think they're banking on maybe a false assumption that people will not sue them for what happened. And that's not bright. It only works in the reality TV sense because people go on reality TV shows, mostly these days because they want a career in influencing, etc. They waive their rights to sue in their reality TV contracts. So they're not likely to sue any of their other castmates because they were tussling, because they're like, okay, well, I still want to stay on the show, etc. The random people that simply wanted to attend a Mayweather boxing match, they have no incentive not to sue. They have no incentive not to be like, I was minding my business. Of course I'm suing you. I'm over this. All right. Listen. Yes, they really tear it to people them nice place at those holiday parties. We could have a whole live stream on that. We could have a whole live stream. I will say, JoJo, this really makes me want to stay inside. I've been to a boxing match at Barclays years ago. I was Shayna's, my best friend's third wheel on a date once, and I had so much fun. It's actually a boxing match, a regular one, where maybe there was no reality TV present. I didn't see that type of film crew. It was a good time. It was very interesting. It was a little like squeamish, I would say, because I don't, at a certain point, I'm like, okay, y'all call it so-and-so won. But it is an interesting sporting event. So not knocking it, but yeah, we could maybe do it because I've been looking over I've been like watching it in general because I'm always curious. So we could maybe, because they are currently fighting. So just a quick tangent, Twitch streamers and Twitch, the corporation, are currently in, I would say, a very passionate argument about what the hell Twitch is doing, the corporation. because they released new policies, and those policies were very much like anti-creator. Like how would anybody make money? For context, on Twitch takes 50% of the income you make, which is really high. 50%. I mean, YouTube is a little bit better. So I think YouTube takes 45%. That extra 5% matters. Okay. I have to double check that. I don't remember. All right. So back to subrogation. So with this, most likely what is going to occur in this instance, if people sue, which I think Zeus again is banking on what they have, it's been proven correct in their instance, which is people have not sued them, and specifically people on their cast, because they want to make it in reality TV. However, they were people not on their cast, so they're most likely, I would assume, going to sue. If people were to sue, who's actually liable for most of this? And the answer is most likely the venue. It's easier to sue the venue because you automatically, when you enter anyone's establishment, when you enter somebody's private property, you enter somebody's home. That's why people jokingly be like, don't fall in here. I don't have insurance. You are the responsibility of the property owner. Now, since Zeus was the promoter of the event, also hosted the event, technically, I think one could make the argument that they should be held to the same standard as the property owner. So it's going to be very much interesting. I thought Twitch was I think it's a lot of things. It's a lot of, I hear it's a crazy place from my understanding. Exactly, Choi. I agree. Zeus is used to controlled environments and bullying those girls into not pressing charges or suing. Exactly. A good example of this is in Joseline's cabaret. I can't remember exactly who sued. It happened during my birthday, actually. One of the castmates I think is either one or multiple of them actually sued Joseline and her fiance because they assaulted them at the reunion. That lawsuit was dropped, and lawsuits usually aren't dropped unless a settlement occurs. So most likely it's settled. All right. Okay. So let's go through the comments. That was everything. It was this. And the men just stood there and did nothing. Some of them stood there and did nothing. And then some of them filmed and were like, stop it. I'm like, you're the one filming, sir. You stop it. What is happening? And then some of them jumped in and were just hitting random people. Wine makes things bearable. All right. And I completely agree with this. That is what it looks like to me. That is what it's look. And I'm surprised that he himself didn't catch any charges. Particularly, assault is the apprehension of harm. So he has assaulted Lex. He was yelling this close to her face. I'm very much surprised that Joseline's fiance, Ballistic, didn't receive any charges yet. All right. So let's go through the comments. I don't know what happened to our little GIF, which was like the wine sipping at the end. I must have accidentally deleted it, so now it's like this. So now I have to go back and find it. Okay. I think we actually covered the comments while we were going. Woo, a first. Blue Quartz, the insurance companies are going to dissect those actions from that video. Oh, 1000%. This is about to make Claire, that's an adjuster and a reviewer, this is about to make her week. Like, oh, this is the most exciting thing that's happened. Like, oh, no, I don't think we covered that. I don't think we covered that one. Hey, Grace, you're up so late. One of those guys shoved that woman who threw the drink at her. Yes, I saw that. And then chased her. Which, mind you, there's so many clips. It seems she threw the drink after Joseline hit her in the head. Ay. Thank you. I've had them on like all week. They're my favorite. I'm forgetting. I'm trying to do a better job at telling y'all. It's a small UK little shop. And I'm not gonna lie, the shipping is expensive, but there's some great product. Fat pom-poms. Yeah. And every time I say it just makes me laugh. Fat pom-poms is where these are from. All right. I agree. Let's get it. They tried to sell us on the fact that Lem Plummer was just a black man trying to be a media owner whenever it's mentioned of how problematic Zeus is. And that's the dishonest part about Zeus I don't like, which is, I understand a lot of people being like, oh, there are different forms of entertainment for everybody. Different people are living different types of lives. Of course, which is why I'm like, respectability politics and the downfall of it aside, it is very problematic that this is your entire branding of show when you yourself do not participate in this lifestyle. You also barely pay these people a good, come on, it's foolishness. And Natalie's new accent irritates the crap out of me. It irritates me because it's strange. It's not natural. Okay. Oh, this is a good point. Confessions of a Jaded Optimist. Fox did it first. They got the black eyeballs and switched to white people. Yes, they did. They did. Those were some good shows they killed. Sad. All right. Well, on that note, we've gone through everything. It's this. And I feel like there are ways to say this, like this is a good way to say this, which is not classist and egregious at all. It's like, it's the women signing away their safety for me. It's the safety, the lack of safety, which we're going to get into specific clips in the reality TV, but a preface for it in the legalization of assault and the profiting of assault. In one of the clips from, like, which direction was it? It was Baddies West. You see an argument occur between the women, and then you see Natalie Nunn being like, okay, let's just get it over with. Like, are y'all gonna fight now? Like, are you gonna do it later? Like, come on. And I'm like, you're the producer. You're the one encouraging this. Do y'all have medical staff on standby? What are you? Y'all are not paying enough. Y'all are not paying enough for anybody to consider that this is a viable way to, have a career. Listen, for $163,000 and some trifling cents, my student loans, I would let somebody try. I got quick reflexes. But I would let somebody try, maybe. But for 10 grand, you're gonna let somebody hit you for 10 grand in 19 episodes? No, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any financial sense. We are not tussling into tomorrow for less than, let's do the math. Math is not my ministry, so I have to put this into the calculator. 10,000, it's 5 to 10,000 because I looked it up, and it depends on where they feel like you're ranked in terms of like viewership and if you're bringing in new people. There are 19 episodes. If you were paid $10,000 for the whole season of 19 episodes, that's $526.31 measly cents per episode. If you were paid $5,000, that is $263.15 per episode for someone to tussle with you every other business day. No. I will hold my head high and happily go to McDonald's. That's not enough for you to be trying to sock me in the face. That's crazy. Exactly. Because you're exploiting people for pennies under the guise of, yeah, eventually you too can fly in the private jet that we rented and we use as a tax write-off for the show. It's disingenuous. And that's my issue with it. My issue with it is not people making an informed decision to do whatever they want. It's taking away the informed decision from them because you are literally paying them pennies. A minimum wage. Exactly. Because if we take 263, oh, look at us doing math. We're doing math, and then I'm going to go eat dinner. If we take that 263 assumption, it films, when you sign a reality TV contract, you agree to about 24 hours a day as a regular person. Of course, if you ever watch like Keisha Cole's show, she was already a celebrity. So she dictates when she gets to film. If you're a regular cast member, it's written into the real world contract as well. You agree to 24-hour filming. So let's say you have to sleep. So let's give you 18 hours of filming. That's $14.61. That is less than the New York State minimum wage. The New York State minimum wage is $15, or the New York City minimum wage, is $15. Yeah. I just want them to pay the girls more. I want them to pay the girls more so they can do what they want to do. If you like that lifestyle, I love that for you. And I want you to get paid properly. So that way, if you choose to opt out of it, you can opt out of it. You can't opt out of it at $14.61 an hour. No, you can't. But yes, Yeah, it's going to continue to grow. So reality TV popped off during the last writer's strike. It did. That was the end. That's why Girlfriends ended in such an awful way. Ugh. The ending of Girlfriends is so bizarre. Like, I rewatch it every once in a while, and I'm like, why? We deserve better than this. I wanted to see Joan Carroll Clayton finally take a deep breath and enjoy some happiness. And it just is bizarre. Bizarre. Listen. That's what it is. That's the premise of the show. The premise of the show is that. So I'm like, if we're doing MMA and you're interested in that, I think MMA fighters get paid a certain wage because you're putting your body in harm. So pay the people them their money. But on that note, I will catch y'all. Today is Thursday. Later on Sunday, hopefully, fingers crossed. And we're going to discuss the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly of reality TV contracts and about how reality TV essentially pimps people out for very, very little coins. All right. I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.